Hello. Let's get straight into it. Just want to say hello. I did try to do a bit of a watch along yesterday, and it just didn't work. I think I had a lot of lagging and drop frames, so hopefully that's not happening today. But yeah, I just want to talk about yesterday. So 3-0, really. I'm trying to make a few good notes. I think as a fan, I think we all feel a little bit more optimistic about yesterday, but I think we're all quite aware that it's just a small, I won't say blip in the road, but it's we're on to winning ways. It's on the way in the right direction, and I think we were expecting that result, expecting that reaction from the players, but equally we were a little bit hesitant and nervous about it all taking place a little bit in terms of how we would react and I think first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the game, both teams were in a similar sort of position where the results haven't gone great over the last sort of 7 or 8 games. And I think we felt as if both teams were testing each other out, and it was all about just getting that first goal, and it came out with an absolute worldy bit of brilliance from both Bruno and Ronaldo. I mean, even the ball was, fantastic, but any other player in that team puts that into the side netting, or skies gets it over the bar. So fantastic, really. Great result, great turnaround. I think in terms of, and I don't want to touch on any negatives. I know there's probably a lot of people who are ollie outers and all sorts of stuff like that, and I don't really want to sort of touch on that too much, really, because for me, as a fan, I don't, the main purpose for me is just looking at the game, looking at the positives, looking at the result, and trying to move forward from it. So I think Ronaldo with Cavani, gives Ronaldo a little bit of freedom to do what he does best, and that's getting space and finding goals. Cavani, I think they both worked hard. I think Cavani worked hard and he got his goal and he got his reward. But I think Ronaldo, he likes to play along with somebody, and I think he likes to link up. Both his goal and his assist showed that. And everyone says he likes to play on his own, get the goals. But I think when he's linking up with somebody of equal quality and of equal experience, it shows that it's it comes good. And I felt like Cavani, when he came on against Villarreal a few weeks ago, it showed, it turned the game. I think equally to that, I think when he came on against Atalanta, I can't remember. I know he definitely came on against Villarreal, and I was at that game, and it was fantastic, his work rate, and it did turn it around. It allowed Ronaldo to do what he does again and free himself up. So yeah, it was fantastic once again. Brilliant, really. Ronaldo, fantastic. I mean, that little Ronaldo chop he did in midfield to get the assist and play that ball through on the outside of his right boot, it's class. If De Bruyne was doing that, or somebody else in the Premier League, Mason Mount or somebody like that, it would all be Foden. Everyone would be singing his praises. Because it's Ronaldo, and all you expect him to do is score goals. He doesn't get the praise for that assist, but great ball, perfectly weighted, and what a finish! I mean, that finish from Cavani, that little chip. I saw a photograph of Hugo Lloris trying to save it, and he fully commits. Fair play to him. He fully commits to the save, arms stretched, eyes closed, and Cavani's just chipped it over him. Unbelievable. But yeah, so them two, fantastic. They've got to start every game now as much as they possibly can. Obviously, with the games coming up, just looking at the fixtures, we've obviously got Atalanta on Tuesday, followed by City. So I think, looking at the table at the minute, the Champions League table, which I ain't got in front of me, but off the top of my head, obviously we've won 2 games out of 3 now, and we still need to win that game. It's a must-win game. It's the easiest game out of the 3, potentially. Maybe you could say Young Boys is easier slightly, but I think it's in terms of the chances that Atalanta allow. I was at the Atalanta game as well the week after and they just allow far too many chances. And I just can't see us not winning that game, especially if we create. And the amount of people I've got to come into that game. I mean, Lingard got a few minutes towards the back end of the game yesterday. Rashford came on, scored, had 15, 20 minutes. You know, we've got Martial who's scored against Everton and been nowhere since in terms of getting any minutes. So there's a lot of players, a lot of fringe players really who deserve a game against Atalanta. It's another big game away from home. Crowd's pretty hostile, but they've got to step up, and we've got to be playing and trusting this squad. You can't keep relying on Bruno, Ronaldo, and Cavani to be pulling us through. So we've got to, give Rashford minutes. We've got to be giving Lingard minutes. Yeah, we maybe start with Ronaldo. It's a Tuesday game, so we've got plenty of time until Saturday, but then it's an early kick-off against Man City on Saturday at 12:30. So, obviously, first game pretty much. So I think there might be a Friday night game that week. But it's the early kick-off on Saturday, so we've got to make sure that the players are rested. But again, it's a Tuesday game, albeit it's away from home, so there's a bit of travelling. So, but it's a must-win. So Tuesdays are going to be a big one. But again, we've got to trust the squad. We've got to really trust the squad and basically trust that everybody's doing their job, really. So, yeah, just want to talk about the formation, really, which I thought Ollie got it spot on. I mean, he gets a lot of criticism in regards to doing things wrong, but I thought he got it really spot on. I've watched a bit of Mark Goldbridge, and he was right, to be honest. I mean, we have been good at soaking up pressure and counter-attacking teams. We did it against City the last couple of years. Been brilliant at it with an inexperienced team. Plenty of pace in Rashford and Martial and players like that, Lingard and counter-attacking teams. What we wanted to see then, it was a little bit of creativity, a little bit of control, a possessive game, and that hasn't come. And that hasn't come because we all know we haven't got those midfielders who provide that. Since Scholes and Carrick have left years and years ago, we've never been able to replace it. So for me, it was the right formation to play. And I think what we have added to that counter-attacking team is some players who are going to even improve that style of play. I don't personally, I would like to see us dominate possession and feel like we're in control of games. So that when we go into Europe against the bigger teams in Europe, that we feel like we've got a chance. And I think, back in 08, 09, 10, we got to a standard where we felt as if we were doing that against the top teams of Europe, but we've gone backwards. In terms of some standout performances, obviously everyone's saying Scott McTominay was class yesterday. It was good. I mean, in terms of the formation, what was it, a 5-2-1-2, or was it a 3-4-1-2? I don't know what it was, but what it allowed was, I mean, Scholes mentioned it when he hassled hassling the team the other week against Atalanta and saying we were poor, and he was right. And then obviously, threatening that we were going to basically do the same thing against Liverpool, which is what happened, and he was right. I think, from my point of view, it was a case of we just got it right. We got the formation right. The five at the back. What he allowed, as I say, what Scholesy was trying to say was that when you're playing in midfield, so Scott and Fred were in midfield, McTominay and Fred were in midfield, and when you've got four at the back and you've got two advancing full-backs, it leaves you two at the back, and with Bruno and then potentially Pogba in the attacking midfield roles with another defensive midfielder, whether it be Fred or McTominay, it ends up being five go forward, leaving two protecting two, which is why against Liverpool it just pulls all over the place. Now with three at the back and two full backs, it meant we could get forward when we countered, but it get back when we needed to, and leaving five at the back with two sitting midfielders as well. So it still gave Bruno and it still gave Ronaldo and Cavani freedom to get forward. It also allowed Shaw and Wan-Bissaka to meet up. So it was good in that respect, and I think that's exactly what we need to be playing going forward. Need to keep doing that, keep playing that sort of way, keep playing that formation for a while until we get his feet sort of firmly under the table with the results. I mean, looking at the next few results that we've got coming up, so we've got Man City on Saturday. Following that, we've got who have we got now? Let's double check. We've got Watford, must-win game, away from home, but it's a must-win game. And then Villarreal back in Europe on the 23rd, which I think is a Tuesday again. I think it's a Tuesday. 4 absolutely must-win games, and I think looking at those 4 games before we get into the Chelsea and Arsenal game, you've got to be saying that it's a must-win. There's 3 games there we must win. Atalanta must win. I think if we get a draw out of the City game, we're at home, so big advantage there being at home. So we'll take a draw out of that, and then we win at Watford, and we win away at Villarreal, and then you could look at that month of November coming into the Chelsea game with it being a good month. I think if you claw anything more than a point out of the City game, it's been a fantastic month, and I think Ollie would massively have turned his job around. So definitely looking at that, we've got a big month ahead, but there's some winnable games there. Looking at it 2 weeks ago before the Liverpool game, or a week before the Liverpool game, you're looking at that going, oh God, this looks terrible. But I don't think it's all down to the fact that we've just beat Spurs 3-0, because I think the Spurs were pretty poor, and I think in terms of what they showed, and they didn't have any bite, they were pretty weak, didn't look like they wanted to be there. And the trouble is, and we've faced this numerous times even recently, is that when teams are in a position where they are struggling for confidence, the issues seem to be sort of vicariously met on the pitch, and so what I mean is that a lot of the issues seem to be broadcasted on the pitch, and so albeit they're not creating goals, they're defending pretty poorly. There's internal issues, whether it be people's contracts or issues with coaching or arguments they've had between manager and player. That just becomes a bigger thing on the pitch, and obviously when you put that behind you and you just concentrate on the football, then you can get through results sometimes. But for Spurs now, they're in a bigger situation than just winning football games. That team clearly isn't good enough to be doing what they expect to be doing with Kane, that team, and where they were sort of 3 or 4 years ago with the Champions League and everything. So it is poor, and but we beat him. We did. It was a good performance, good tactical setup. Scott was good. Scott McTominay was good. Felt as if he really sort of put a shift in, and then he won his battles when he needed to win. I thought Fred didn't have a bad game, if I'm honest. There's a couple of times where could have done better, but I didn't think he had a bad game, and I thought he was a good deputy to McTominay. I think we've definitely got to keep playing the 3 at the back with 2 full backs. I think even going into the European games, we do the same, and we just get used to that. I think Maguire having Varane there with the experience is absolutely key, and he looked good. He looked good yesterday, Maguire. When Varane was near him, he made a couple of mistakes, positional mistakes. Once or twice I noticed the ball in the second half. I think it was the second half. The ball, misjudged the ball, getting played through to him. And normally he'd be panicking, and Varane covered him for him in behind. And Maguire just slotted into his position, and it worked well. They flipped around. So, no, overall it was just a lot better to witness and to watch. It was just loads better. Freddie McTominay, for me, I think you take Scott out of that. You take Fred out of that and you put Pogba in there, or for me, play Van der Beek. I mean, give him a chance. Even in that game yesterday, against Spurs. Give him 25 minutes. Just give him some minutes. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, they must have had words, Van der Beek and Solskjaer. They must be falling out over something, whether he's beat him at poker or something like that, and I don't know, but he needs to give him minutes for me, and he could have got minutes in that game. I felt Lingard came on too late, 80th minute, whatever it was. Rashford got minutes again, and I suppose from last season, deservedly so. But again, where's Martial? He didn't do too bad against Everton, got brought off, and I haven't seen him since. A little bit unfair. So overall, brilliant. I suppose on to Ollie, really. I mean, for me, I've been a bit up and down. I won't say I'm a massive Ollie outer at all. I respect what he's done for the club in his time as a player. He's a legend of the club, and in terms of his managerial skills, I don't know. For me, I think he's got to get to a point where I think if he does turn this around a little bit, that he's got to put his hand up and just say, I've steered us back on course now, but I think it's time for me to just, hand the keys over to somebody else. But I don't want to see him go under a cloud. I'd rather him steer it back on course, get the fans back on side, and then make that decision from there. But clearly, it's not, not working. And whether that be the fact that the players are not playing for him, or whether it's just the fact that with him trying to figure out what he's doing with the formation with Ronaldo now around, and obviously he's not been able to slot Sancho in either. I mean, I've not even mentioned Sancho. I thought he would have had a brilliant game yesterday, especially when we went 2 up, 3 up, just to get him confidence and get him on the pitch and switch the formation around to maybe a 4-3-3 and just try and go for it a little bit more and get 4 or 5. And stick him on the right. Just stick him on the right and let's see how it goes. When you're 2 or 3-0 up with 20 minutes to play, but again, didn't play him. Brought Rashford on, who's been out of the equation for a while, who's not fit, and yeah, I don't know. One of those really with Sancho. It's just a bit odd, but yeah. So overall, I think it was pretty solid performance. Nothing much to take from the Spurs game really, other than the fact that Ronaldo looks like he's getting sharper every game. Confirmed to me that with Cavani, he plays better. He needs that Cavani there, somebody like Cavani to do that for him, and he's linking up with Cavani. Got a goal from it now. He's worked well with him. He's working into spaces with him. Bruno again. Funny thing with Bruno, I felt like he was off it yesterday a little bit. Like I don't know if anybody else kind of saw that, but I felt like he was off the pace again yesterday, and that might have had something to do with the fact that I don't know, maybe a bit of a confidence issue from the Liverpool game, maybe trying a little bit too hard again from the previous Liverpool game. It feels like he needs to try something, and then he comes out with a bit of brilliance. The ball to Ronaldo's amazing, but there was a couple of times where he gives the ball away again, and again, did it at Liverpool far too many times, did it at Atalanta way too many times, but then 1 out of 20 goes through and we score. At Atalanta when Rashford went through and scored, and again yesterday, unbelievable ball. As I said before, like no one but Ronaldo was getting on the end of that and scoring, because it's just Ronaldo. I mean, it was the position, the angle in which he was, but you kind of had no doubt when he got in that position that he was going to put that away. I mean, what amazed me was that offside goal that he scored in the second half. Went through millimetres offside and whacked it in the top corner, and that's a player who, Ronaldo's confidence just goes up and down so quickly within a game. 1 minute he can be out of confidence within a game, and the next minute he's back in confidence within the same game. And with a lot of other players, like you're looking at Kane at the minute, it's very much full 90 to full 90. If he's scored a goal or two in a game, he'll take that to another game. But if he's not, then it takes him a long time to get that confidence back. And with Ronaldo, it's just, as soon as he does a couple of decent things in a game, you can just see straight away it elevates his confidence. I mean, that finish after that offside goal was just ridiculous. And generally, he just played fantastic yesterday. I mean, that classic Ronaldo chop for the assist, as I said before, was just unreal. And just showing up players again who were at a good level. Was it Oliver Skipp? He knocked it past, or Davis, or someone like that. He just knocked it past them. I mean, the guy's 36 and he's knocking it past guys who are in their 20s, like they're not even there. Yeah, genuinely, really, really good performance. I was really pleased. I think on the whole, I think we did really, really well, and I think we just need to keep it up. Really, I think all we can do now and all we can ask is that he sticks with a fairly similar formation, especially at the back. He sticks at it, sticks with it, keeps the same sort of players, and we see where we go. I suppose it's just with all, you just never know what you're going to get, and next time we could get a complete different performance. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Just trying to sort this chat out here. A couple of things on the chat. I'm not sure if anybody's. Don't seem to be able to sort that out. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So generally, generally really good. So yeah, I'm confident coming to the Atlanta game. I want to see 3 or 4 really. I'm hoping we can get 3 or 4 against them, and Ronaldo bags an hat-trick or something like that. I mean, I think he will start to play Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo won't be able to help himself, so I think he'd definitely play him. And yeah, we'll have to see. I think he's not going to get a full 90. I think he brought him off 75th minute. So I think he'll, every intention of playing him on Tuesday. But with its early Saturday game at Man City, he's got to really take that into consideration. I think if we can go a couple of goals up quickly, then we should be all right, and then we should be able to just bring him off. And I mean, for me, Cavani could play. Could play Cavani up front with Rashford. Could play him up front with Martial. He could switch Lingard around. I think Lingard deserves minutes. I think Sancho does. I think if you played Martial, Rashford and Sancho in this system, it'd work. There's no Bruno replacement in a minute in this for me, in that little sort of attacking midfield role. Could you play Van der Beek? For me, probably more of a centre mid to a centre defensive midfielder position. But yeah, overall, really, really pleased. I think, like I say, we've got to beat Atalanta pretty well, pretty convincingly. Go into the City game full of confidence. Having beaten them 4 or 5-0, having beaten Spurs 3-0 on the previous Saturday, and just hammer them constantly with counter attacks. And as you seen, Crystal Palace beat them. I ain't watched the game, I ain't watched Match a Day, but Palace are beating them. Palace are such an up and down side. Yeah, they've got some flair. They've got some, players will work hard. We work hard against City. We play this formation. We stay compact. Ollie's beaten City. He's done it. He knows he can do it. City know that we can do it. And they'll come to that game after just being beat 2-0 at Palace and be crapping themselves, because they'll know if they go into this United game, it's a big game for them as well, and they lose or they struggle, and they've got every chance of knowing that they're going to struggle, they could lose this game. That puts them well out of the title race. Yeah, it puts Liverpool in prime position and Chelsea, but yeah, for me, we've got this is an opportunity really to turn this around. And as I say, if he turns that around and then goes on to beat Watford and then beat Villarreal, then it's a big turnaround. So right, not sure how many of you have watched. First time doing one of these reaction videos. I'm probably going to do another one on Saturday after the Man City game. Don't know if I'm going to do a watch along, as it's early kick off and I've got a few things on Saturday morning. But yeah, I appreciate anybody who has decided to watch or took time to watch. If you did and you liked it, or it was whatever you want to comment, then do that.